play-by-play of what actually went down those moments that you were encountering that tic-tac.
That's correct.
So all that's going to be hugely important. I'll try to.
He's meeting with one of the Navy's top former fighter pilots who came face to face with a tic-tac shaped UFO in 2004.
Flying a Navy fighter is probably one of the most spectacular jobs you could ever have in the entire world. It's like a roller coaster times 10,000. And I got to do it in some semblance of a tactical airplane for 18 years.
On November 14th, 2004, Commander David Fravor and his wingman pilot took off from the USS Nimitz, which was on maneuvers south of San Diego.
I was the commanding officer of Strike Fighter Squadron 4-1, the Black Aces. We're flying brand new Super Hornets.
The nuclear-powered USS Nimitz was the lead vessel of a carrier strike group that included the destroyers USS Higgins and Chaffee, the attack submarine USS Louisville, and the radar-equipped missile cruiser USS Princeton.
If you asked any senior military officer, what is the crown jewel of the American military arsenal, they would say the aircraft carrier battle group. If we have to go into combat sometime quickly, it's likely going to be a carrier battle group that's going to be there first and is going to be in action first.
It was an air defense exercise, 2 good guys against 2 bad guys. Probably 70 miles, 60 miles off the coast in the gap between San Diego and Ensenada.
Suddenly, the pilots are contacted by radar operators on the Princeton.
The Princeton control comes up and says, we're going to suspend training. We have real-world tasking.
The pilots are re-vectored to a new destination, but aren't told why.
So we start heading off to the west. The other airplane is on my left-hand side.
I was the junior pilot trying to keep up with the senior pilot in the lead aircraft.
We're looking, we don't see anything on our radars at all. And we're talking to each other trying to figure this out.
The Princeton's Aegis Spy-1 radar system is powerful enough to track an object as small as a baseball at an altitude of 80,000 feet. But the jets are flying blind.
We tried to see what was out there, which is difficult when you know what you're looking for. It's even harder when you don't know what you're looking for.
So it goes down 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, it gets all the way down. They get to a point where they can't separate us from the blimp. They call it merge plot, which means you're in the same space as whatever you're looking for, and you got to start looking outside because the radar can't help you anymore.
Then far below in the water, they see what looks like a plane crash or a submerging submarine. But the weapons officer in the rear seat of Fravor's jet spots something else.
I hear, hey, Skipper, do you see? And as he's saying that, I notice the tic-tac. It's white, it has no wings, it has no rotors. I go, holy, what is that? And he goes, I don't know.
According to this leaked summary of the incident, contact was made here, 30 miles off the coast, 70 miles south of the U.S.-Mexico border. At first, the strange craft stays close to the surface, moving unlike anything the pilots had ever seen.
This thing would go instantaneous from one way to another, similar to if you threw a ping pong ball against a wall. And we start to kind of orbit, because now we're going to watch this thing. We start a right-hand turn, and we're going from a clock code. The object is in the middle of the clock, and we're at 6 o'clock, and we're driving around the circle. So we get to about 9 o'clock, and it's just still doing its little erratic thing, kind of moving around this disturbance in the water. And I go, hey, I'm going to go check it out. I'm going to go down there. As we're coming down nice and easy, we get to about the 12 o'clock position, and all of a sudden it goes, and it kind of turns, and now it's mirroring us, and it starts coming up. We're like, okay, now it knows we're here.
It seemed to be aware, and it seems to recognize him.
It goes from basically just almost a hover into a pretty aggressive climb up to our altitude, so there's a bit of fear because now you're out there dealing with something that you have no idea what it is. It's actually reacting to what we're doing. I'm kind of pulling nose, to where he's going to be, and he's coming up. He just rapidly accelerates beyond anything that I've ever seen. Crosses my nose, and it's gone. And I'm like, whoa.
The tic-tac appears to have vanished. But as the jets streak towards a prearranged rendezvous location, known as the cap point, the radio chatter becomes frantic.
The controller from the Princeton comes up right as we're doing all this and says, "Hey, sir, you're not going to believe this." He goes, "But that thing is at your cap point."
According to Fravor, the Tic Tac accelerated from a standing position and flew approximately 60 miles in under a minute, as fast as 3,700 miles an hour. How did the Tic Tac know the pilot's cap point? And how did it accelerate so quickly?
You got something that can accelerate and disappear and then show up 60 miles away. Kind of in awe a little bit, because you go, whoa, we don't have that. You know, and I'm talking, we're flying one of the premier airplanes on the planet. What was this? There is a capability out there. Don't know where it's from. Not saying it's from outer space, but not saying it's from here either.
Definitely giving thanks to the life giver and the keep up life if you're just stepping in. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah, of course, you know, this is the Tiger's Nest. Honorable Priest Isaac here with you, just holding the vibes. All right, okay. All right. Maybe you would have never heard that report of that incident there. But as I said, especially those who may be just coming in, this is the time we are living in where the UFO discussion is even being discussed on the highest level of government. Well, it has always been discussed on the highest level of government. In fact, this open discussion now, or what they open to us as far as the discussion, proves that they have always been discussing what happens in the UFO world. But now it's televised. For the last couple of weeks, or a few weeks ago, I should say, it was being streamed live on some of the top news channels. We even began this evening with a news clipping speaking of what they expect the result of this UFO discussion to be. So it's a serious thing. So of course, the discussion is a bit more open now for some. For those who didn't want to say anything, it's like marijuana. Before, there's some people you didn't even know that they smoke. But now that is free in certain places, all of us, yes, I'm telling you. Yeah, they didn't fight the fight, but they're reaping the rewards. So interesting, you know, they're referring to this unidentified flying object as the Tic Tac. A good example, I'm sure everyone have an idea what a Tic Tac looks like. It's almost like a capsule. About 40 feet. That's not necessarily that big as such, relatively speaking. And doing the same thing that most UFOs do. Now remember the lights over Phoenix. I always address the lights over Phoenix because that is one of the more outstanding UFO sightings. The governor of Phoenix, he himself, although he was mocking it in the early stages, he came out and even apologized for the stance he took because he said he saw this with his eyes. He went out to the ballpark where he saw the big boomerang with the lights just hovering over them and then just disappear like a speed, unlike anything that even the military of the US has ever produced. Because of course, when it comes to the argument of UFOs, and a UFO is a flying object that you can't identify, even if I throw a stone and you pop, what was that? That's a UFO. It's flying, you don't know what it is, and it was an object. But back in the days, a UFO was synonymous with flying saucers. And to some degree, although they have graduated from the saucer stage, it's still the same thing. A UFO is basically some sort of machine that gives you the impression that it's coming from somewhere higher than around here. Good. Now, the lights over Phoenix, and the ship that was seen was like a boomerang. Many ones you would hear the Nation of Islam speak about the wheel. Man, they have credible pilots that have given their accounts. Like that one, the Japanese pilot that saw the oval-looking thing, shape-looking thing, that he even drew a diagram of it. And now you have these pilots here, not too long ago, seeing this shape over the sea. And when he got close to it, it was moving, erratically, like, as he said, ping pong ball bouncing off the wall. You could just picture that. And just like the other crafts, gone. And they can stop on a dime, because in a minute it was 60 miles away at his cap point in the middle of the sea. This is a coordinated point, that's already there. It's called his cap point. He know it, and the people in the control department would know it. And this thing that he is now encountering, him and her, just left his presence and went 60 miles to his camp point on the sea. Military talk. In a minute. It left him and went there. Why there? It left no trails, no wings, no fumes, no sound. A great big tic-tac. Now, I have no reason to disbelieve none of this. I myself, I know I've seen things in the sky. I don't mean satellites cruising through. I've seen some things. I've seen lights moving that make a right angle turn, both of them, one time. I've seen that. And other things. So I know there are things definitely going on out there in the night sky and in the day sky too. You just happen to get a better view at night. That's why even in this documentary you heard the interviewer saying, so this wasn't in the night. And the lady was saying, no man, this was day, clear blue sky, the middle of the day. Already had my breakfast. She didn't say all of that, but just giving you an idea what's going on. So it wasn't the twilight zone, it was the daylight zone. And one thing that the man said there a moment ago, we're going to get back to a little of this before we seal up. One thing he was saying that I caught to be, somewhat interesting. He's saying that he's not saying that it is from like another world. He's not saying that is not from another world. I guess he's just in a daze up to that very point, so he would just, leave it at that. But of course, as I said, the reality is, I always highlight that number one, I think we should have already passed that threshold there, that something's going on around us. So it's not, do you believe in UFO? I think that age gone a long time. Long time. Some mysterious objects does be out there. Some of us personally encountered it. So that's why when you hear another man or woman's story, the disbelief doesn't come up right away, because you yourself have your own experience. It may not be as dramatic as what you're hearing, but you've seen something too. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's from Mars, Venus, Pluto, Murdoch, or some galaxy somewhere, Andromeda and Sirius and all of that stuff. No. That's very, we're getting very Hollywood-like. There are higher levels of intelligence right here on the planet where we are. Right where we are. Or you think we know everything? Remember the people that feed us geography and you know, map the world and all of that we depend on. These are the same people that didn't know where the meteorite came from about 300 years ago. The same people that discovered the River Nile in 1759. So you can't be so dependent on their knowledge, because their knowledge would make you believe that this is it, that there's no intelligent life form on the planet because it has never been seen on 60 Minutes. You better believe it. So this is why, again, you would even hear the Nation of Islam speak about the wheel.
But Elijah.
Huh?
I'm talking about Elijah Muhammad.
Let's hear this.
That man spoke to us in our grave of ignorance.
Tell us what he said.
And we came forward. Elijah Muhammad taught us the science of eating. He taught us the knowledge of ourselves, the knowledge of the enemy, the knowledge of God, the knowledge of the universe. He taught us the origin of the white race. He taught us the time and what must be done. He laid out a complete program for us that took into consideration our spiritual needs, our intellectual and mental needs, our psychological needs, our social needs, our economic and political needs, our scientific needs, our educational needs. He set it all out for us. And then he went away and left a black man in the midst of us to work for 40 years, laying a foundation. He pointed out to Elijah Muhammad has a 1,500 plane in the sky. He told Elijah Muhammad that plane, look up in this dome. Look up in this dome. Look at the lights in the window. See, it's made like a wheel. Look at it good. If you look at it, it almost looks like it's turning. Not quite, unless you had something to drink. I want you to look at this now. Ezekiel had a vision. And he looked up and he saw a wheel in the middle of the air. It had eyes all around it. Eyes mean windows. And eyes mean people looking out. It run by the grace of God. It was a cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Ezekiel saw this 595 years before Jesus was born in a vision. When Elijah Muhammad met the in 1931, he showed him the wheel actually in the sky. It's there now. Now this wheel has 1,500 planes on it. And each of those planes carries 3 bombs. Now this wheel has 1,500 planes on it. Now this wheel has 1,500 planes on it. And each of those planes carries 3 bombs. And the bombs on those planes are the same kind of high explosives that were used to bring up the mountains on the earth. You say mountains brought up by high explosives? Yes. Yes. The Holy Quran says, and we raise mountains on the earth, let it convulse and carry you away. The same way you put weights on your tire to give balance to your tire so you have a smooth ride down the highway. The earth is oblong, not round, but but you're riding a very smooth ride at the speed of 1,037 1/3 miles per hour, and you don't even feel a jolt unless God makes the earth quake under your feet. Why is your ride so smooth? It's because like you put weights on an imbalanced tire. God rolls up mountains on the earth lest the earth convulse and carry you away. How do you raise a mountain? Put a firecracker in sand. Put it an inch down and explode it, and it'll bring up a mound an inch high. Put it down 2 inches and you'll bring up a mound 2 inches high. We're almost there. He says when that bomb hits the earth, it has a timing device. Only one book of mathematics when we gave you power to rule this world. There are 59,999 other books of higher mathematics that none of you have ever seen. So trying to figure out what's going on. There's a new vegetation on the wheel. There are new seeds on the wheel. There's new life on the wheel. You don't age on the wheel. The wheel is made by God. It's like a city in the sky, and I saw a new Jerusalem. A city like a bride adorned for the groom coming down from heaven. Ain't no city coming down out of no sky. It's a wheel. And that wheel is as powerful or more powerful than the Ark of Noah. God had to put animals in the ark, 2 of every kind, because when he destroyed, he was only going to reproduce what was already here. No! Behold, I make all things new. I'm using nothing of this, but just you, if you submit. God in person. Yeah, he told Elijah Muhammad over about 60 years ago. He said that he would bring every wheel in America to a halt. I want you to listen good because you're going to face it. You that think America the beautiful, huh? I heard the voice of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad just as clear as you hear my voice, huh? And he gave me some instructions. And I've been following those instructions, and the instructions are so mathematically precise. Am I lying, Brother Minister? Did the wheel show up in Washington? Did they see it and picture it and put it on television?
Hear that.
Whether you know it or not, I'm connected to that. No, shut up.
Shut up. Hear this again.
Am I lying, Brother Minister? Did the wheel show up in Washington?
Did the wheel show up in
Let me
Washington?
just tell you what I'm saying.
Tell him.
I said, before you can make mockery of me, you will see the wheel over your head.
Hear that.
Let me just tell you what I'm saying. I said, before you can make mockery of me, you will see the wheel over your head. I left Washington, and the next day, the wheel appeared. And it stayed there for over a day. They kept filming it. Am I lying, Brother Minister? Did the wheel show up in Washington? Did they see it and picture it and put it on television? Whether you know it or not, I'm connected to that. No.
Well.
Shut up.
All right, sorry, buddy. You can't tell me shut up, though. All right, see, so now, so he had some encounter there. That's Minister Louis Farrakhan, of course, and he's clearly showing you now. Well, first of all, he's highlighting the mother plane. He's highlighting the wheel, of which those of you who do not know the full story of this, the wheel, as claimed by the Minister Farrakhan, is that mothership where Elijah Muhammad is, and I would assume some other ones. And as he said there's new life on the wheel. You don't age on the wheel, new vegetation on the wheel. The wheel is a city with several wheels and 1,500 bombing jets and so many different things on the wheel. And he was taken up on the wheel in a vision-like experience, he would refer to it as if it's somewhere between dreaming and reality, but not necessarily reality, but it was more than dreaming. That's the impression I get when I hear him speak of it. A vision-like experience when he was in one of these Central or South American country, or Mexico or somewhere. And so the wheel now, he's saying that he told officials that, listen, the wheel is going to show up tomorrow. And tomorrow the wheel was there over Washington. Interesting. Well, they have daily UFO sightings, by the way, just letting you know. But still interesting. And just giving you a piece of that perspective from the Nation of Islam.
Back on the Nimitz, the pilots tell the rest of the squadron what just happened.
The next crew is getting ready. So we're talking to him about this, and they're like, you got to be kidding.
They took us seriously, and the Wizzo, the guy in the back seat, said, I'm going to go find it.
The next jet to launch had a targeting pod with an infrared sensor and camera.
It jammed the radar, but he got a lock on it, and that's the video that you see. If that doesn't weird you out, I don't know what does.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, Lou. How are you?
Good. Hopefully you can shed some light on a few things.
On November 14th, 2004, 2 pilots launched from the USS Nimitz and intercepted a UFO over the Pacific, south of San Diego.
What does it look like?
No windows, no flight surfaces. It looked like a giant tic-tac.
They believe this video, recorded later that day by a pilot from their squadron, shows the UFO they saw. It's one of 3 Department of Defense UFO videos Lou Elizondo helped get released to the public.
When the 3 videos came out, there was this shock by the world community that, oh my gosh, these are real videos.
And of course, I'm glad he said it that way when these videos came out, because although this is audio and radio, obviously, I'm sure many of you would have seen these videos, if not the pictures. I would have showed the videos on the YouTube channel some time back, really. But obviously, the discussion was the UFOs. I think that's when they first were kind of hinting that the government is taking this thing seriously, and that I keep that they're bringing to the public that they're taking this seriously. They always took this seriously. I mean, they know much more than they want us to believe they know. Because even to us, all of this is a high level of mystery. You may say it's aliens. You may say they're coming from space. You may say they're coming from the Andromeda galaxy, like if that's a simple thing to say. Yeah, they're coming from the Andromeda galaxy. Wow. But as I said, there's a high level of intelligence on the planet that we don't know about. So we've passed the stage of if they exist or if they don't exist. Something going on around us that most of us cannot explain. Yeah, something going on around us that most of us cannot explain. Real deal. So all of these sightings here, and you can imagine how many sightings never been spoken about, have never been brought to the table. Plenty of people lose their job. People get more than lose job, they lose other things. Because maybe they were instructed to keep quiet and they spill the beans. So as I said, we all observe these things moving in the heavens sometimes. Some of them may be, as they say, satellites, but sometimes we see things that are more than satellites, for sure. I mean, I've seen 7 lights flying across the sky, looking like comets and just disappear into a hole. Me, myself, with my eyes, I see that. Just disappear 7 of them. Eh? And I was not the only witness. So it's obvious. Another thing, it's obvious that something going on around us. Some people may consider it all taking place really in the spiritual world, not being as in front of us as tangible as we think, but in the spiritual world, like spiritual vibration. So those 7 stars, maybe 7 angels or 7 spirits or something like that. Some 7 energies of light. What they would have appeared like, and they appeared very close to, they looked like 7 big comets, and they were just flying across the sky, and they just went into this hole in the sky. Man, I'm telling you, I'm not asking you. I told you once I saw 2 of them moving, and they took a right turn, like right away. They were not moving that fast, but satellites don't make those right turns. Not right turn, pardon me. A right angle turn. Pardon me, not a right turn. Right angle turn, in fact, in a sense, they turned to the left. But it was a right angle, 90 degrees. Just sharp like that. Yeah. In fact, that is when I was watching them. I said, wow, what are those? And then they just turn. I thought, wait. Like, wow, that's something else. Yeah, I can remember exactly where I was. I was in Mount Prosper in Dominica on a veranda in the middle of the night, burning the chalice. You don't know how it goes. Heavens declare the glory of God. So I know what I saw and I know what I've seen. And of course, the reality of what people consider UFO. So, yeah. Anyway, family, give thanks for your presence, man. That was a good full up there of meditation and understanding of what's, taking place, as they say in, Jamaica. It's good that you, walk good, be vigilant and be observant and make sure you see what's going on around you. Yes, family, you're just coming in. Oh, my. Anyway, more than likely you're a subscriber, so you'll be getting this program by this evening or tomorrow in your inbox. All right, so, what you say? You're not a subscriber? What do you mean you're not a subscriber? Hey, that means you're not a subscriber. Man, anyway, to be a subscriber to the Tiger's Nest is a very simple thing. Just email me, PriestIsaacInstitute@gmail.com. That's all. Just email and say, hey, I want to make sure I don't miss another episode of the Tiger's Nest. All right, and we just work it out and everything will be in order. All right. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, PriestIsaacInstitute@gmail.com. And of course, you're already on the website, so it should be easy for you to still connect directly with us via email or ask your questions thereabout. All right, family. Give thanks for the love. Give thanks for the joy. Of course, you know what you got to do next. Nothing. You stay right there to Radio Anu. Of course, we have some interesting vibration coming up next. Always something good right here on Radio Anu for you to, elevate and take the thing to another level. So definitely giving thanks for your love, giving thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Blessed love to each and every one. Until we step into the zone again. Remember, there are many, many, many lions then. But of course, you don't know. Give thanks. There's only one Tiger's Nest.
them has been wrong, that some of them have misunderstood us, and it's only by our action they will know that we mean business. Brothers, I think I have spoken enough in this language. It is not my wish that I should be speaking to you in a foreign, and for that matter, in colonialistic language.
Speak of Jomo Kenyatta.
Once we got here, as you can imagine, those businesses did really well. They did okay, but they weren't Modern Black Girl,
Right.
nor was I hiring a full team that I managed. I have to create the rules for, that I have to set the tone for, right? There was already systems in place that I just kind of followed. But with Modern Black Girl, what do you want? What do you want it to feel? What is your company culture? What are these things? I had to kind of set that in place.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to New Money, where we talk to movers and shakers about how they made it. I'm your host, Rosemary Miller, here with Tiffany James, the founder and CEO of Modern Black Girl. Thank you so much for joining me today, Tiffany.
Thank you for having me.
So, Tiffany, you started Modern Black Girl, but before that even happened, you turned $10,000 into $2 million in
Yes.
about 2 years.